So I wanted to give my 2 cents. Again, it's just my thoughts based on this whole accelerating versus constant speed, right, of the motion of the earth. And here's my thing. Here's how I see it. I feel like focusing on the physics of the upwards motion of the earth, it's what's important and what we should all be focusing on, right? Because if we start focusing in the details of the motion of the earth instead of the physics of the motion of the earth to debunk the globe, we're now creating division. Focusing on the motion, the upwards motion of the earth, which is what physics shows, right? Buoyancy shows us that. Instead of just focusing on that, they want us to focus on the details of the motion of the earth. Focusing on the details of the speed, for example, oh, how fast is it going, or what kind of motion does it have? All of that is irrelevant to the fact that it's moving up relative to us within the reference frame. That's what physics shows. That's what we should be focusing on. The fact that the earth is moving up relative to us, and that's what gives us buoyancy. Now,
all right, I'm going to go through this one more time for William and anybody else who doesn't understand the constant versus acceleration. I agree 100%. We need to focus on the physics and what is practically demonstrable. What is practically demonstrable? What does the physics show us? How can we recreate buoyancy? Can buoyancy be created at a constant speed? Or does something have to accelerate to create buoyancy? Every example, every time, acceleration is what causes buoyancy. You can never move something at constant velocity and create buoyancy. To say now that the earth is moving up at a constant velocity and that's what's creating buoyancy, that's special pleading. You have to go with what's demonstrable. You have to go with what the physics shows. So as much as we can know that the earth is moving up, that the vector is up, that the force is up, as much as we can know all of that, we can know that it's accelerating, because that's what's demonstrable. That's what's practically shown in all the tests that we've ever done. Nobody has ever shown buoyancy being created at a constant velocity. There is no unbalanced forces at a constant velocity. We have to go with what the physics shows. Remember, William?
and nothing personal towards, what's his name, Jason, right? Jason, Rising Earth. Again, nothing personal towards Jason. I'm just talking about the logic behind what he says, I guess. Again, nothing personal towards him, but they're trying to like dismiss that the Earth is moving with a constant change in direction by saying that, oh, it wouldn't work in a centrifuge, right? So because a centrifuge shows water, you know, showing a dip, I guess, right in the middle, then Earth cannot be in a centrifuge, or cannot be moving in some kind of centrifuge motion because water's not level. Then I agree, sure. If maybe that is true. I haven't seen that experiment myself, but yeah, I'm pretty sure maybe if water does concave, right? Then I get it. Obviously, water can't be level. Here's another thing: the tides wouldn't even work in a centrifuge as well. The thing is that centrifuge is not the only way that the Earth could be moving with a constant change in direction. You know, the Earth could easily be in a fixed path, so the Earth could be, you know, moving in a fixed path and slightly changing that deviation, obviously relative to the path that it's taking, the track, whatever. You know, there could be a rotational arm as well, so the force is coming from underneath still. The Earth is still pushing up from underneath, you know. So there's different ways to achieve constant acceleration with a constant change in direction, other than just the centrifuge, in my opinion. Again, you wouldn't have, the tides wouldn't work, in my opinion. You wouldn't be, a helicopter wouldn't be able to fly. There would be so many flaws with that model, in my opinion, that yes, of course that wouldn't work. But trying to pigeonhole everyone into that model to then dismiss it, that the Earth must be moving in a straight line now, I think it's a bit devious, I don't know, a bit, it's wrong, I guess. I can't think of a better word, in my opinion, because again, there's different ways that the Earth could be moving with a constant change in direction, right?
Again, William, this is not, it's not anything personal against you. I'm just about what the physics shows us. Can you show me another way to have a constant change in direction with a constant acceleration, like we measure here on Earth, that is not a circular path? I apologize if I strawmanned you into a centrifuge type system, but that is the only way that I know of that has been demonstrated as a constant change in direction with a constant acceleration. If you have another way of demonstrating another pathway that will produce a constant acceleration with a constant change in direction, I would love to see it.
Earth moving linearly, well, it has flaws, in my opinion. For one, is you wouldn't have a high tide and a low tide, right? Because obviously we know that the water's level perpendicular to the motion vector.
You're welcome to worry about tides if you want. We don't need the Earth's motion to explain tides. There's a million ways to show different forces acting on water to make it not level. You'll never be able to prove any theory. It's just speculation. Just like the globe model and their moon's gravity causing tides, It's something we can never know. It's just a detail to a model.
I was thinking about it the other day and I was like, oh shit. Because even if you're moving at a constant velocity through a medium, you're still going to get that pushback. You don't have to be accelerating through the medium to feel the pushback, right? So even if you're going 100 miles an hour in a car, that's why they make cars aerodynamic. Because what happens if they're not aerodynamic and you accelerate, you know, super fast, right? The car rips apart. The car will literally rip apart, you know, because of the pushback, because of air resistance, because of drag. You know, the faster you move through the medium, the more drag you're going to have, the more pushback. The Earth will be torn apart if it was moving at an infinite speed through a medium. So again, by default, you have to assume a vacuum, which is no different than the globe, in my opinion. Again, you have to assume a no thing. The Earth is moving through nothing.
You don't have to assume a vacuum or any type of medium to claim a constant acceleration. Constant acceleration is what we measure. Constant force is what we measure. There's no assumptions needed for anything outside of the reference frame. No one can know the unknown. No one can know anything about the outside of the reference frame. You're just like the speed of light guys that say, oh, nothing can go past the speed of light. We have no idea what's outside of the reference frame. Why are we appealing to things that cannot be known, that could never possibly be known? We appeal to what we measure. We appeal to what we experience. We appeal to what we can observe inside the reference frame and what we can reproduce and demonstrate that cause the same effects as what we see in this reference frame. What happens outside of the reference frame, no one knows. And for you, of all people, that does claim an upward motion to claim you know what's going on outside of the reference frame or what could possibly be possible outside of the reference frame is ridiculous. All we know is what we can know. Anything outside of that, it's, you know, speculations. And I'm fine with speculating what's going on outside, but do we know that the Earth could not go faster than the speed of light? Do we know it has to be going faster than the speed of light? Do we know that the Earth's system isn't made out of a material that would never deteriorate, that would never rip apart going with drag against it? No. Do we know of a force that could possibly even withstand a constant acceleration forever? No, we don't know that, but we can measure that inside the reference frame. We have a measurement to go on. And claiming a constant acceleration is not claiming a model. It's claiming what we measure.